Hey, up next on the MARR Army Rock Show, we are happy to catch up with Adam Hall. Now, I know a lot of you will remember Adam from Another Lost Year, and we know Adam is a fellow ship rocker and a Golden Horns Awards winner as well here on the show, so lots to talk about. Adam, welcome.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you.
So, hey, it's so good to talk to you again. It's been a little bit since we talked to you. You know, you've been out of Another Lost Year for a little while now. Busy guy working on some stuff. So tell folks a little bit about the brand new single, the name of it, and what the tune's about.
The brand new single is called Habits, and it's actually a very old song. I'll be 34 next month. They say you're not supposed to reveal your age in the entertainment industry because it's a young person's game, but I don't mind. I'll be 34 next month, actually, right before Christmas, and I wrote this song when I was about 18 years old.
Oh my goodness.
The first song I ever wrote, and I remember hitting that first chord and going, I like that, because up until that point I was just learning to play and playing covers and getting my being influenced by all kinds of genres of rock, 90s rock, Pearl Jams and the Foo Fighters and everything. At this point in my life, I was a big Warped Tour fan, and the emotion that type of music brought out of me is you can hear it in the single. But man, Habits is about I like to help people. I like to see the good in people. I'm an optimistic person, and I think you can feel that having known me for a little bit.
Absolutely.
Constantly smile on my face, looking at the brighter things in life, even when maybe things are kind of kicking me in the face. And sometimes people kick you in the face, and you don't even realize it, and you just want to see them succeed, and you just want to see them do good. So this particular song was about a moment in my life where I wanted a friend of mine to be better, and I wanted to bring them out of this hole because no one had ever shown them respect before, so they didn't have any self-respect. I was doing my absolute best to get them away from the things that were bad habits, and habits isn't just like drugs, but people, bad personalities are not good to be around. And this person just completely consumed themselves with bad things and bad people, and I tried to break them of their habits, and they just, it was almost like they were laughing at me. So that's kind of what the song's about, and it ended up kind of morphing over the years. I played it in a couple of different bands, and it went from a slow acoustic jam to a really, really, really fast punk version. It's kind of evolved over the years, and I went to Jose in the spring. Jose from 3 Years Hollow.
Yeah.
And we did Another Lost Year's last record, and tons of songs there, tons of stuff that's completely unreleased still, which is always good. It's always good to have stuff in your back pocket.
It's amazing that song's been around so long, and hey, so folks, I gotta ask, because I know you're probably tired of it, but folks are gonna want to know they're listening. So talk about your decision to go out as a solo artist, man, and what that was like for you.
Well, I was always kind of a solo artist until I met Clinton, and I saw Clint doing his thing, and I was like, dang, God, he's good. I've met a couple of people in my life that I watch them play, and I watch them sing, and I watch them perform, and I kind of think to myself, that's what I want to be. That's eventually, what I would like to do. But Clint was so easy just to jump behind. He had such a driving force, and we became such good friends. And he always talked to me, you gotta record that, man. You gotta, because I played it over the years. He heard it, before I was ever in Another Lost Year. He was just putting the band together, and I remember playing at an open mic and playing that song. He was like, "Who was that?" I was like, "I wrote that." He was like, "Good grief, man!" Like, so, but I've always been a solo artist up until that point, and so it's not really out of the norm for me. I don't feel. I was never comfortable being the lead guy, and I watched Clint do it for so long that it made me better. You surround yourself with people that are good at something, they're going to rub off on you. And if you just do something repeatedly over and over and over again, you eventually get better at it. And I just got better at presenting myself and talking on the mic and whatnot. And like I said, in the spring, I hit Jose up and said I had these few ideas that I wanted to throw by him, and I literally hit a voice memo on my phone and recorded a couple of songs that I've had for 10, 15 years and sent them to him, and I've never got a phone call back so quick. He was like, what are these songs, man? These things are awesome. So I went to the attic in Geneseo, and we jammed some songs out and hashed them out. And man, I love being in the studio. Studio brings out the creative side of me. Some people hate the studio. Some musicians literally hate going into the studio and hitting the record button. But I love it. I love it.
So from what you said then, can we expect that these are going to be part of an EP or an upcoming album or something along that line?
Absolutely. The way that music's presented now is different than 5 years ago or even 2 years ago. It's hard to put out an album and get the most out of it, because you might have 6 or 7 songs on an album that could be singles. Mm-hmm. In radio formats and whatnot. But are you going to put all of them out on an album? Since most people don't go past the single. Even Rascal Flatts said that they're not releasing any more albums. They're literally going to put singles out.
Yeah, it's really the wave.
The foreseeable future. Papa Roach has started doing the same thing. I think.
So is that your plan?
Last 10 songs have been have been singles.
So is that your plan? Do we think we're going to get a string of singles kind of coming out? Is that kind of the plan for these tunes?
I think that I have an album concept in line, and I think that as a collection they'll be available together. In a physical format. That way you can, because I'm still a fan of being able to hold an album in my hands and looking at the artwork and looking at the work that went into that. But I realize that a lot of people, stream music and watch YouTube. And so you have to kind of go with the flow on things sometimes, and you have to evolve. I'm an old man when it comes to a lot of things, and sometimes I gotta break out of my own habits. See what I did there?
You sell yourself short on that a little bit, because you're a lot younger than me, dude. But we'll go with that one for right now. But hey, speaking of YouTube and all, man, I saw you did a lot of the video work with a good friend of ours, Nate Compton from Elysium. Man, tell us about how you and Nate got together on that thing.
Dude is a stud. He always has been. He did a lot of several lyric videos for AOI when I was in there, and we created a great friendship then. If we never worked together professionally, he and I would still keep in touch because we're such good friends. But when I got the song mixed and to a point where I was comfortable sharing it with a few of my friends, I sent it to him, and he called me, and he was like, "Please tell me you're calling me, or you sent that to me so we could do a video." I was like, "Absolutely." there's no one else I would even want to go to at this point, because he does such good work. He's so quick. He's a total pro, and I think that he's undervalued as in the music industry, not just as a songwriter, not just as a singer, but just making music videos, the content that Elysium's putting out, and he's the driving force behind that. So.
Yeah, man, that dude is, he's got pipes of gold as far as singing, and I agree. And he's got a lot of that road cred, man, that you and the ALY guys put together, too, because he lived on the road like you did for a really long time, so.
Yep. And I know that they're still, they're still trying to do the road dogs thing. It's tough, man. It's expensive, especially when you go out there and you have, you expect, X amount of dollars, and sometimes you get to the end of the night and the promoter goes, well, I've only got half of it, I'll pay you the rest in the morning. and it's shocking how often that happens to big bands.
Yeah.
To big bands,
It's
but
a
they can
tough
afford
life.
lawyers. Little bands can't afford lawyers.
That is a tough life you guys live for a long time now. But that being said, so I'm just going to jump in and ask you this question. Are you thinking about live performances yet? And are you thinking of going back out on the road as a solo artist?
I'm absolutely going to do some live shows coming up in January. I just got one with Scott Wilson of Saving Abel at the Looney Bin in Bradley, Illinois, which is right outside of Chicago, on January the 4th. And man, I might have something up my sleeve as far as touring with some other musicians. Maybe doing a full band thing, but still got some work to do. But it also sucks touring in the winter.
Yeah,
because you never know what's going to happen. They weren't. I live in central Illinois now, and they weren't calling for any snow. And I woke up the other morning, there was 6 inches of snow on the ground.
Yep, same thing happened here in Lancaster, PA, just yesterday.
Yeah, and being a Southern boy, man, I'm not used to that. I'm not used to this negative 30 degrees winters. But they have them here. They're real, and they're scary.
Well, hey, before I let you go here, I got to ask you, because I always do this when I have a shiprock band on, and, a fellow shiprocker, man, one of my favorite memories, we've had a lot of good times together, but one of my favorite was running into you on shiprock, and I just want you to spend a minute reflecting on the shiprock experience.
Oh, man, where to start with that? I have a picture of me in my cabin, and I'm on the top bunk, and all of our gear was in our cabin. And I'll send it to you. And all of my gear is right below. All of our guitars, all of our amps, everything that we took was in my room, because we only got a couple of rooms. But I wouldn't have changed that for the world, man. The world. It was so funny, because you think everything's glamorous, and then you get there and everything's in your room. people thought we were at the front of the boat. Me and Ben Burnley are rubbing elbows and everything else, and that was totally not the case, because Clint and Ben were rubbing elbows in the casino. But no, it was very cool. So Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin. Yeah. He's from Beckley, West Virginia, and I'm from Huntington, West Virginia. And I had opened up for his band Copper many moons ago in Huntington, West Virginia. And when I ran into him on the ship, he and I have crossed paths quite a bit, but I know he's seen a lot. He did the Adelitas Way thing, and now he's in Breaking Benjamin, one of the biggest rock bands in the world. So I was like, I don't know if you remember me. I was like, but, I did this, and I was in this band, Crimson Rising, as Monkey Bar. He was like, oh, my gosh, Crazy Rick, who used to own the Monkey Bar. And so we caught up for a few minutes. I was like, we're playing on the back of the ship, at such and such time. You should come check us out if you get a chance. Totally plugging my band, totally working the system. And he was like, absolutely, man. And it was so cool when we started playing, I was about 3 songs in, and I see Keith, and he and Aaron, the bass player from Breaking Benjamin, and our friend Roger, who's a friend of theirs, were standing back at the sound booth. And we were already on level 10 excitement, like, because we were playing on the ship. You know, that's a big deal. You know how big a big deal that is.
Absolutely.
For a band that doesn't have a gigantic name to be playing on something like that. And I look back and I see Keith, Aaron, and Roger, and I'm like, man, that's cool, because, you know, I know they've got their wives on board. They're taking time out of their free time to come check us out. That's cool. So we play, and like 4 songs later, they're still there, and I'm like, oh, gosh. They didn't give us the customary, we'll go watch them for 2 songs and then leave. That's pretty cool. So we wrap up, and we grab all of our gear off stage. It's a cluster, because right after that, we have to do meet and greet. So we go do the meet and greet, and get down there, and Papa Roach was playing. So everybody's going to go see Papa Roach, because nothing's conflicting with them. So we go to the front, and I'm in the pit, and they had given us 2 bottles of Jack Daniels. And I had half a bottle of Jack Daniels when we left, and I was carrying it around. And you don't see people walking around with bottles of
No, you don't.
Jack Daniels on shipwrights. And I'm just carrying this bottle around, and I'm up in the pit with a couple of my friends, and Papa Roach literally gets done, and I looked over at my buddy. I was like, that was so cool. And he kind of looks over my shoulder, and he kind of points. And I turn around, and it's Aaron. And Aaron's a tall guy. He's like 8 or 9 feet tall. And I'm a short guy. I'm like 5 foot. So I'm like looking up at this guy. And he shakes my hand. He's like, you are awesome, man. He goes, you guys were killer. He goes, your voice is just tip-top shape, man, and his is too. He's a great singer. So it was cool to get that feedback from him, and, you know, kind of shoot it for a few minutes. Going back and forth, you know, with someone who's, you know, selling out arenas, you know, and him not even giving me, like, open-handed compliments, like saying, hey, you know, on this part, you know, you hit that note in this song, and you just held it forever. Like, how do you do that? Do you do vocal warm-ups? Are you trained? And I'm just like, no, I've been singing in bars my whole life. Like,
well, I can tell you one of my, it was a great memory of that cruise for me was watching your excitement, because I remember bumping into you. I guess it was the first day, just somewhere by some pool, randomly somewhere, and just seeing the excitement on your face kind of made my day that day. So I love watching the artists on that boat, man. But hey, so I want to let folks know the single at the time we air this will be out by now. The single's called Habits. You can go to Adam Hall Music on Facebook and find it. And I assume, Adam, like all the digital outlets will have the tune available?
Absolutely. iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube obviously will have the lyric video that Nate Compton did. Yeah, it'll be everywhere that music is available. And I'd like to throw out another thanks to Jose, 3 Years Inc. at the Attic for making it kind of all, you know, come together, and Nate Walker for helping me mix it, and Nate Compton for helping me put the video together. It's definitely not just me, even though a lot of people are just kind of pointing at me and looking at me now.
Yeah,
because they think it's me.
You picked some good folks to work with there, man. So
yes, I did.
Hey,
yes,
man,
I did.
Adam, man, we appreciate so much you being on the show, and look forward to the rest of the singles coming out, man. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you very much, man. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for having me, and keep doing what you're doing, buddy.